welcome.
Thank you.
Tell me about your current role in the company. What do you do?
Okay, so I'm the director of the Percentage company. I focus on the technical part with my partner and co-founder focuses more on the business aspects. So basically, we are a hotel digital marketing agency. We work with hotels around the world. So to date, in the last 5 years, around 500 hotels of various shapes and sizes. And basically, our aim is to provide a 360-degree solution for the hotel digital marketing and technology needs.
And you got started in the hospitality industry. How did you get where you are today?
Absolutely. So, well, originally I started in the real estate industry, actually, in Europe. So our family business was real estate. We developed one of the largest real estate companies in Spain at the time. And then a colleague that was working with us at the time bought a hotel in Phuket. And I came over to help him set up his tech stack. And I came with a backpack. I lived in Marbella at the time. I came with a backpack to Phuket for 2 weeks, and I never went back.
And let's be clear, you probably had no intention of staying.
No, I had zero intention of staying, to be honest. But even my mother had to dispose of my apartment, and yeah, it was quite a thing. You know, I shipped all my goods, and yeah.
And you probably had to tell your mom that you're not coming back.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, I don't regret it at all. I've been in Phuket since, a little bit in Bangkok and a little bit in Phuket, and since 2007 that was. So yeah.
Wow. What made you start the Percentage company? What was the inflection point?
So I've been involved in technology and with digital marketing since '97, probably was when I first built my first website. And I just felt, working in the hospitality industry, I felt there was a little bit of a gap when it came to bringing smaller properties up to the level perhaps that the larger chain hotels and the larger properties would have. So, and they can't necessarily afford to have people on payroll that have the skills required to take the property to the next level. So that's where we saw a gap in the market, and we thought, well, let's give it a go and see what happens. Thankfully, it's all gone well so far.
You chose Cloudbeds at some point for a first property, and I'm sure you went through a series of criteria around it. Why did you choose Cloudbeds, or how did you end up choosing Cloudbeds?
Yeah, so my first experience was working with perhaps the more legacy systems. When I first came to Thailand, I installed them and used them, and I got quite familiar from an IT perspective and from a revenue management perspective. But I came across Cloudbeds because I happened to have a mutual friend that worked in your fantastic team, Kun Jintana, which many people in Thailand will know about. And basically, I was looking for a solution that would, as I said, bring the smaller properties up to a slightly higher level, and to automate some of the processes that they didn't have the staff or the ability to be able to implement, whether that be email, things like email automation, or just getting access to your data, which was a new experience for me in the hospitality business. So yeah, we thought it was a great mix of extreme value for money relative to the competition. I studied it. I studied 12 different systems at the time, and I studied the processes of each property with my co-founder Paolo, and we basically reverse engineered the whole hotel, and we found that the best fit and by far the best value for money was Cloudbeds, and it resulted in around 70% cost savings for that first property, moving from Opera at those days to Cloudbeds.
Wow. I'm curious what were the challenges of switching from, let's say, the legacy PMS to a system like Cloudbeds?
Yeah, so it's very challenging, purely because you don't always have access to your data, right? So from our perspective, there was a lot of exporting data to PDF, which many people will know that it's a challenge to convert that to Excel and to get that into a format that could be imported into the new systems. That was the same experience across all systems, POS, PMS, accounting systems we changed as well, because we wanted a digital forward tech stack. So we wanted to have some systems that would bring the property up to the new century. So yeah, a lot of the other challenges related to staff wanting to change. There's always a barrier to change in any organization. So convincing people that this is best for them and that they'll save time and save energy and save time is to talk with their customers and the guests is challenging. But once you get over that hurdle, it worked out quite well.
So data extraction and then I guess training, if you like.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. That's always been especially as I said, we work a lot in Thailand, and the challenges, especially in the accounting space, it's difficult because of statutory requirements and these kinds of things. But overall, it's about being a little bit pragmatic and understanding that there is no such thing as a perfect PMS in this world. But the cost-benefit analysis is by far on Cloudbed's side, so that's why we chose it.
Are the challenges different based on hotel size?
I would say we've worked with some very small properties, 5, 6 sort of villa properties up to 400 rooms that we've installed Cloudbeds with. I would say the difficulty is primarily with the number of staff and the layers of management. So the more staff you have, the more reporting requirements and the more layers of discussion you need to be able to get the green light to change the system. I think that would probably be the only difference. And each property is unique in its own aspects. So we work with properties where we've installed Cloudbeds where they might have a package, a wellness division part of their business, whereas other ones are more, you might term like more business hotels. But each one's got slightly different requirements. But that's why we like the app store that comes with Cloudbeds, the marketplace, because it means that you can build a customized tech stack for whatever your size. You can find the right mix of technology and tools to be able to get you where you want to go, basically.
What's your favorite function within the Cloudbeds system?
I'd say, with the challenges of accessing data in legacy systems, I would say the open API is, I'm slightly biased on that because we build applications, I should say, but obviously work with Cloudbeds. But I think the open API, the concept of it, I'm a coder as well, so I've always been on the open source side of the force, if you like. So I like to have access to the data so that you can manipulate it, and that can inform your marketing strategy and your building the presence of the property. But I think overall, I would say the email automation is a wonderful feature that maybe, I'm not sure everyone uses that or not, but for me that's been extremely powerful in terms of removing day-to-day admin jobs that I used to do as a revenue manager, trying to build that relationship with the customer. It just automates those processes so that you can focus on more important aspects of the job, basically.
Fantastic. You're an ambassador of Cloudbeds. Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, so we've worked, as I said, with around 500 properties over that 5-year period. So we've reached, I think, 90 countries working with Cloudbeds as an ambassador. We talk with all kinds of wonderful properties from Aruba to Australia to London to Paris. So it's quite a unique way of working. It's quite, at the end of the day, we're a small company. We're based in, some would say, the middle of nowhere in Phuket on the beach. But we've managed to touch all corners of the globe and reach properties and help properties around the world, especially with the accounting integrations. And we find it just an amazing thing that we can sit on the beach and still help people across the world with our Cloudbeds partnership.
I want to talk a little bit more about the percentage company and sort of your business model and how you make it successful. Walk me through what is really driving success with your company and your product.
Yeah, so our primary, I would say, business, the main part of our business is for sure the sales and marketing and revenue management. So we are an outsource agency, if you like, where companies can come to us if they don't have the necessary finance to have people on payroll of a certain level of skill. So we come in primarily from a digital marketing standpoint. As I said, I've been an SEO since '99. I've been working heavily in that space. So, and from that, we often find that that leads us into the tech stack space. So we need tools that will help us work faster, work more efficiently, and make sure that we're able to basically run these operations efficiently for on behalf of the hotels. So that's where the tech stack sort of links and marries with the digital marketing space. So I think from our perspective, we try and be a 360-degree solution. In practice, some companies, they have some elements of that circle already, but we try to fill the gaps and do it in such a way where, as I said, they can compete with the larger properties and chains and this kind of thing.
Many hoteliers are reporting difficulties to recruit. Are you helping them compensate for shortages in I guess, staff?
Absolutely. Even for our organization as well, there was challenges after the COVID period. So it's difficult to find the right mix of staff. We're very fortunate that many of the staff have worked with me for 10 years or more. So we have a great core team. But in terms of client properties, that was a real challenge to get up and running and to relaunch properties. In Thailand, where we are, there's significant challenges with legal restrictions coming into the country. So there weren't the volumes that we would expect in terms of travelers and people coming to all parts of Thailand. So the properties weren't able to find the people firstly and to enable them to reopen in the first place. So we helped multiple properties relaunch, small, medium and large. We think it's been quite useful to have a company like us to lean on in those difficult times. Yeah.
Yeah, Thailand was closed for immigration, or at least for
Absolutely.
inbound travel for a long time.
Absolutely. Almost all of our properties were closed for a significant period of time. So, as you may know, reopening a hotel is not as simple as turning the lights back on and getting back to your desk. It was, especially after 1 year of closure or even 2 years of closure. So, it was a really challenging period, and I think we're quite proud of the work we did to help revive properties and bring them back to their former glory, as it were.
Let's fast forward. We'll still probably have some shortages in labor. Is AI going to be the savior that will help us overcome some of these shortages, technology as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite a firm believer in new technology. I'm a technologist by nature, so I've always been engrossed in the world, technological world. But so I see it more as a tool to help us improve the experience we offer to guests, right? So I think if we can leverage that technology to take away a lot of the manual admin that goes on behind the scenes at every hotel in the world, as you'll know, the back office work, all this sort of manual processes that shouldn't be required really. So I think the next step will be leveraging those technologies so that the team on property can actually spend their time focusing on the guest and improving the guest experience, because that's something that AI can't do, is having that face-to-face connection and that engagement with a guest as they come through the door.
And that's so important, it sounds like.
Absolutely. For me, I think it's something that can level the playing field as well in terms of the large and small properties. You can use that technology so that in the end doesn't matter you go to a larger hotel or a smaller hotel, it's still a person-to-person contact. So you can try and build a relationship and build that loyalty and that hopefully force them to come back next time.
Let's talk about the future guest experience. What does that look like in 10 years, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, you'll see in cities around the world now, you'll see more city hotels, there's more automated processes, so you check in and you don't even see a person in some cases. So I expect that will continue because of that. There's always a drive for GOP as a hotel owner and operator. So that will help reduce the costs of having hotels manned with lots of staff. But I still think the fundamental principle of being a hotelier is that you still have to have that engagement with the guest. I don't think that will ever change. It's just it may just require less manual processes to run the hotel, whether it be accounting and reporting, or whether it's HR, or whether it's engineering, and trying to get your hotel up to spec. I think that will all come into it. But yeah, I think the fundamentals won't change.
How are you using API Marketplace today?
Yeah, so we've actually built, I think, top of my head, around 6 integrations with Cloudbeds, a lot in the accounting space. So we rely heavy on that API, but we also build business intelligence reports as well, which we tend to use a lot for our own customers in terms of our revenue management, sales and marketing approach. But we even have our own highly customized booking engine, which we use the API for as well. And we've worked with lots of, I counted yesterday, 18 different PMS I've worked with since 2007 at various hotels. 18 PMS, I think 9 POS, and 8 accounting systems at various properties. And I think the unique aspect of Cloudbeds is the fact that you're not afraid to share your access to the property's data. And for me, that's a game changer, whereas lots of the larger companies do not want you to access your data. There's a natural barrier there. They only want to partner with larger companies, whereas we're a boutique agency, if you like. We're a small company. So we very much appreciate getting the access, and that's helped take our company to the next level, which we greatly appreciate.
Well, when the hoteliers today consider different PMS systems, why should they choose, to your point, a PMS system that has an open API?
Yeah, I think the tendency certainly in Thailand, which we've worked quite extensively, the tendency is to choose a system out of the box, purely because it's easier, and often hotels don't have the team on site to be able to make the decision about which tech stack they should go with that fits for their organization. But I think overall, data is central to, or at least should be central to, your entire marketing approach, whether it be email marketing, whether it be studying trends and trying to forecast what's happening with your property. For me, the data is how you take a hotel to the next level. That's how we work. Day and night, we're looking at data, we're looking at numbers to try and find gaps where we can add incremental improvement and try and take the hotel to the next step. So yeah, for me, I've worked, as I said, I've worked with lots of other PMS, but it's not possible to have the same approach. Ideally we'd have a more digital forward system like Cloudbeds, where we can then use that data and leverage that to inform the marketing.
Excellent. In your opinion, what technology will change hospitality the most?
I'm a technologist by heart, so for me, I still feel AI will be the biggest game changer. I've long felt that's going to be the case. I mean, whether it be embedded into PMS, or whether it be part of connected apps, or just dealing with the CRM aspects of a hotel and building that loyalty. For me, the AI will change, as it's changing every industry day by day as we speak.
And finally, how do we travel in 100 years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a nervous flyer, so I'd like to say that planes won't exist. Perhaps, yeah, beam me up, Scotty kind of thing would be my preference, but I'm guessing it will be some kind of super fast, sort of Concorde-esque kind of plane, I guess. But
Would you like to stay on the ground?
I'd very much like to stay on the ground. I'm a sailor as well, so yeah, I'm happy for it to take longer as long as you get there eventually. But yeah, planes are not for me.
Thank you, Edward, for your time.
Thank you. Pleasure.